Mighty Ape is Australia's entertainment and pop culture superstore with everything from movies, music, games, toys, books, hobbies, and more. Mighty Ape is your one-stop shop for the things that matter most. They constantly have hot deals and exclusive promos. And if you visit their website on the click-through banner on fakechef.net's homepage, then your purchase will help support Good Movie Monday. Mighty Ape, Australia's entertainment and pop culture superstore.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
You mean to wish me a good morning? What do you mean that it is a good morning whether I want it or not?
Please go away. Let me speak for the love of God.
If at first you don't succeed, lift your standards. And that would be the tagline from the poster of Tommy Boy, starring David Spade and Chris Farley. And Tommy Boy, of course, being where that last piece of audio from our intro comes from. So what the hell does that have to do with anything? Well, shut up and I'll tell you. This week's episode is all about taglines. We're going to look at the good, the bad, and the ugly taglines. We're going to play a game, pitch some alternatives, and have some fun. Good Movie Monday is the name of the show. Thanks for being here with us. My name is Glenn Cochran. Please hang around for the next hour as myself and my co-host Ben Halwig discuss movies and stuff. And we're going to hear from the boneheads. Jarrett's going to pilfer the new release shelves. Guillermo's going to bring you up to date with the movie news, courtesy of Screen Realm. And Adam Ross will be reviewing Honey Boy. But anyway, Ben, mate, how's it going?
It's going well, mate. Yeah, real well.
Having a good week. The feedback from the last few shows has been pretty nice.
Oh, that's fantastic. I'm glad that I haven't stuffed up too badly.
Well, I'm hearing from all over, including, the States and England, that your VHS collection is becoming quite famous.
Oh, lovely.
We just won't give out your address.
No, don't do that. Don't even give out my email address. That'd be horrifying.
And you know what, Ben? I am really glad that you're now riding shotgun on this show, because this week in movie news, they announced that Christopher Nolan's new film, Tenet, has been delayed indefinitely. Now, this is the kind of story that would have given Keith an aneurysm, so it's much better that you're sitting in that seat. And even though reports are saying that indefinitely is the word being bandied around, Warner Brothers are also stating that the new release strategy will be imminent. So I don't know what the hell that means.
I tell you the truth, Glenn, 3 weeks ago, I didn't know what people were talking about when they mentioned the Tenet.
Yeah, right.
I had no idea. It's like, a new Christopher Nolan movie, is it? Oh, okay.
Well,
sure.
We were getting really excited about it on this show before you came along, and all hopes have been dashed.
Yeah, not mine.
Well, the thing is too, because America has a different point in their COVID-19 story to other places in the world, Warner have chosen not to do a global release, so they may drop it theatrically in some countries, not even in America. So it's an interesting one. We'll just have to watch this space, I guess.
Yeah, like I suppose this pandemic has really shaken up the theatrical distribution business. So no one really knows what to do. And I think if they don't start releasing these films next year, it's going to be blockbuster after blockbuster. No film will actually be able to make any money because they will literally be released on top of each other.
Yeah. It's almost like the main studios need to cut their losses and just drop it onto VOD so that the catch up can happen in a sort of progressive way.
Yeah, although I guess there will be it will end up getting to a point where there's a lag because no productions have actually been able to go into production. So we won't have any new films in about a year or two.
Isn't that a great opportunity for them to go onto the shelves and look at those films that they've shelved? There are a lot of films that have never been released because they just lack confidence in them, but it's a good opportunity to just pump it all out.
Yeah, that's right. Especially films like, New Mutants, which I think has had 5 or maybe 10 release dates over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
It's perfect for stuff like that.
I'm sure there's all kinds of stuff, but here's some movie news that will be up your alley. I say sarcastically. So this week, news dropped of a third Grease movie being in the works, and this one is a prequel chronicling Danny and Sandy's famous chance meeting while on vacation. And do you want to have a guess at what this one's called?
No.
Summer Lovin'.
Summer Love. Oh, of course. I was going to say, isn't it that whole movie is told in a song in Greece?
That's right. Well, that's the basis of this film.
You're going to make a movie of the song. Oh, well.
Well, look, the third Grease movie's actually been a thing since the 80s. I mean, the failure of part 2 is what practically ruined its chances of ever happening. Some people, this is an interesting little bit of trivia, some people might not be aware that the third movie was about to happen and it got spun into High School Musical.
Wow. But I hope they have the technology, and we've seen it in a couple of Star Wars films and a couple of Marvel movies. They're going to have young John Travolta and young Olivia Newton-John, but them playing it now. Like, how are they going to? It's going to be amazing.
How perverse would that be?
I'm much more excited about this than I am about the
Might be
Tenet.
the new Cats. Might be the new Cats, mate.
Jeff Conaway unfortunately has passed away. How many of the other like Stockard Channing still around?
Yeah, but have you seen Stockard Channing? Try de-aging that.
I reckon she could still do it. Abby Bartlett.
Yeah.
She's still got some. What were they called? What were the girls? The Pink Lady. She's still got some Pink Lady in her.
Hang on, who was Frenchie? Diddy Kong.
Diddy Kong. Yeah.
Well, I
It's
guess
not going to be. Was Christopher McDonald? Was Christopher McDonald in?
He was in number
was
2.
He in Grease or Grease 2?
Hey, but who's to say we can't have a crossover here, mate?
Yeah, that's right. Well, they could all be in it. I mean, that's right. That'd be amazing. Michelle Pfeiffer could be in it.
Absolutely. Yeah, and Maxwell Crawford's not doing anything yet.
I think he looks the same.
Yes.
So it'd be fine. Like, he could play Rex Manning and a crossover between that and Empire Records.
He's been sitting by the phone ever since Empire Records, just waiting for his agent to call.
Yeah, when's the Rex Manning movie coming?
Oh my God.
That'd be amazing.
Here's a question for you, Ben. Do you remember what the tagline for Grease is?
Is it Grease is the word?
Ding, 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 ding. Yes.
It is. Wow.
Yes.
I'm shocked that I got that. It's all Frankie Valli's fault.
Are you a fan of the Grease movies?
Look, I enjoyed them as a kid. Like I remember watching it like at school, in primary school, when we would take the bus to school camp. They had the VCR in the bus,
Yes.
and they would play Grease. And it wasn't until much later that I realized the whole movie is just about them talking about sex.
Yep.
And in primary school, no idea.
Nope.
No, it was just all about the Grease medley, which I think it was number 1 on the Video Smash Hits charts at the time.
The Grease medley.
The Grease medley.
Oh my God. Well, we are off and running. I hope everybody's ready because we're about to throw a whole lot of taglines at you.
This Friday, we're joined on Scarefest Television by Heather Dobson, author of Memoirs of a Future Ghost. We will be talking ghost hunting, obituaries, and meeting the afterlife head on. Join us live at 9 p.m. Eastern at scarefestradio.com or on Facebook and Twitter by following the Scarefest.
Hey, this is Jarrett, and welcome to PE class. This time, it's physical. And that would be the tagline for PE class if PE class were a movie. And wouldn't that be something? If PE class were a movie and it would have come out on home entertainment. How meta. Could be directed by Christopher Nolan or Quentin Dupo. It'd be pretty exciting. Be a hell of a lot more exciting than this week on home entertainment because there's only one movie coming out on home entertainment this week, and it is one new movie, no reissues. One movie coming out on DVD, no Blu-ray, no 4K UHD. And it's coming out from Rialto Distribution via Roadshow, and that film is Resistance, that stars Jesse Eisenberg. And he plays an aspiring actor whose love of theatre sees him join the French Resistance and use his skills in the theatre to aid and educate these orphan children on the horrors of war and how to survive war, and ultimately he helps rescue these children. And it's based on a true story, fascinating story. However, the film itself is a little lightweight. Despite its production value, it feels like a TV movie. It just lacks the real hard-hitting substance. And it's a shame, and it feels like Jesse Eisenberg was miscast in this role because I think he's a good actor. He can do drama, he can do comedy, but he's just not the right fit for this particular film. And the director, it's a shame too, because the director behind this film is Jonathan Jakubowicz. You may know from the 2016 film Hands of Stone. That was another film that's based on a true story that he'd written the screenplay for and directed, and that was about a boxer named Roberto Duran, and actually had Robert De Niro as his coach in it, which is always good to see Robert De Niro in one of those, sort of boxing films because of Raging Bull. Maybe not so good seeing him in Grudge Match, not the best. But regardless, Hands of Stone was a cool film. It was a good film. Showed a lot of promise. And Resistance just feels disappointing at best. And it's impossible for me to recommend you picking up that on home entertainment. In fact, it's the kind of film that I think is better suited to streaming. When you pay a package deal, 10, 15, whatever a month, and that's one of many movies on there that if you watch, you don't feel so disappointed about having shelled out, 10, 20 bucks just for that one film. But I don't want you to go away empty-handed, so I'm going to recommend you another movie. Nothing really in the vein of Resistance, because I don't know, personally I don't really feel like watching a lot of heavy drama right now. Living through a lot of heavy drama, as no doubt all of you guys are. So I'm going to recommend a comedy, because everyone deserves a laugh about now, and a comedy with Jesse Eisenberg that I feel probably gets overlooked. And it's a comedy called 30 Minutes or Less. Now, this film also stars a cavalcade of comic talent. It includes Danny McBride and Aziz Ansari. And it follows a pizza delivery guy who has a bomb strapped to him and is forced to rob a bank. And it is, honestly, it's really, really funny. It's available locally on Blu-ray and DVD through Shock. It was initially released by Sony, but has since been out of print for God knows how long. And I think Shock reissued it maybe last year, so you can pick up the DVD for under $10, and you can pick up the Blu-ray probably for under $16. And I recommend picking it up because I feel like if you watch this movie, you'll probably get a few watches out of it. It's from 2011, and it's just good value. It's just a lot of good fun. There's also Nick Swardston in it. Michael Pena's in it. There's a lot of great people. Fred Ward's in this movie. A lot of great talent. So 30 Minutes or Less, if you haven't seen it, great comedy from 2011, completely underrated, and it is available cheaply on home entertainment, and I thoroughly recommend picking it up because you will get plenty of rewatch value out of it. Anyway, that's it for me for this week, and normally I'd tell you to stay physical, but this time, it's physical.
All right, well, let's talk about taglines. I've been looking really forward to this one. So for the uninitiated out there, when we say tagline, we do mean the small line of font or text at the top or bottom of a title on a movie poster, which sort of serves as a teaser, I guess. For example, the tagline for Richard Donner's Superman in 1978 was, "You'll believe a man could fly." And one I've spoken about numerous times on the show is, "They'll get you in the end," on the Ghoulies poster, which is one that has haunted my dreams ever since. So, Ben, let's maybe list some personal favourites, and then after that I will run off a list of some truly awful and hilarious ones. So, have you got any on hand there that you love?
I sure do. Possibly my favourite tagline is for the Jim Wynorski classic Chopping Mall, which it's actually got two taglines. "Buy or die" is the first one, which is great, but then the main one, which is "Where shopping costs you an arm and a leg." It is possibly the most amazing tagline ever conceived.
That is a great tagline. Now, if you go back a few episodes in our podcast, we played a grab from the Bonehead Weekly podcast where Jim Wynorski was on there, and he tells the story of how he and Roger Corman came up with that tagline.
Oh, wow.
Roger Corman originally wanted something to the effect of "Where prices are slashed," and Jim Wynorski just came in with that one. But they had a different title for the film as well, and there was a guy in the screening room, like, he was on a ladder painting the ceiling, and he just added a comment saying, "Why don't you call it Chopping Mall?" And then suddenly they spitballed the tagline, and that's how it all came to be.
Because that's right, it was originally called Killbots.
Yes.
And they actually went to Cannes with the poster, trying to get financing for it with the Killbots poster.
Yep.
Luckily I actually have a copy of the Danish VHS release, which has the Killbots title on it.
Oh, mate. Well, yeah, so if you want to hear that story from the horse's mouth, go and look up Bonehead Weekly on YouTube, the Jim Wynorski episode. He goes into great detail about how that all came about. It's absolutely hilarious. So I've got a doozy here for you. So this one is from Day of the Dolphin. Have you heard of this film? Yes.
George C. Scott. It was supposed to be directed by someone else. I can't remember
Mike
who.
Nichols directed it.
Right, yeah, but wasn't he a replacement for someone else who dropped out at the last minute or died or something like that?
He may have been, but just Day of the Dolphin is a hilarious title in and of itself.
Yeah. It's George C. Scott, right? George C. Scott. Yeah.
The tagline is, unwittingly, he trained a dolphin to kill the President of the United States. If that's not a great tagline, I don't know what is.
I don't know what is. No, that's pure genius. Somebody earned their marketing money that day.
Man, and Mike Nichols is such a man of prestige, as is George C. Scott. Like, that is just phenomenal.
Yeah, amazing.
What else you got?
Well, this one, okay, like speaking of kind of silly taglines, or not, I suppose not silly, it's just an odd tagline on a little film called The Karate Kid.
Yeah.
The tagline on the poster was, only the old one could teach him the secrets of the masters. It's such a pointless, nothing tagline.
Only the old one.
Only the old one could teach him this. I guess they're talking about Mr. Miyagi,
well,
but
it
else? Is. But yeah, I mean Martin Cove is like he's old, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
It is just such a stupid. Like it beggars the mind. Like how ordinary a tagline it is. It's like, I mean, why didn't they just call it a young kid learns karate? Like it's about as ridiculous and pointless as that.
Here's something interesting for you. Martin Cove. He's in the new, it's now Netflix Cobra Kai TV series, right?
Right. Yep.
Have you seen
what, season 2 or 3 or something?
Well, season 3 is coming to Netflix. Previously, it was on YouTube.
Yeah.
Have you seen what he looks like these days?
I saw him in a little film called VFW, so I am familiar with.
Of course, he looks a lot like Hoggle from The Labyrinth.
Yeah.
Oh man! All right, well, here's my next one. This was my favorite tagline of all time until something bumped it off the mantle. But just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water, you can't get to it. Blood Beach.
Blood Beach. Nice. It only works in a post-Jaws world.
Yeah, it only works if you understand that Blood Beach is about sand that swallows people.
Yeah, that's right.
You kind of have to kind of see the film to understand what it's referencing.
That's true. Yeah. Otherwise, it would make no sense. I've got one. Now, this is actually, funnily enough, considering what's happening in the world right now with the Black Lives Matter campaign and sort of stuff. But and it works. It fits in well with that. You could probably guess the film. You have the right to remain silent forever.
Hang on, are we talking? That's not RoboCop, is it?
No, but close.
Oh, nah, I'm blanking.
No, that is a little film called Maniac Cop.
Oh my God, I can't believe you said that because I spoke about it on my other podcast last week. We had a whole conversation about Maniac Cop on Scarefest Radio.
Bill Lustig is turning off his podcast right now.
I've let the team down. Oh my God. That's a great movie.
It's a phenomenal film.
Yeah. Part 2 is better than part 1.
That is a very intense debate around that. When I was working on the release of Maniac Cop, I had intended to put a booklet together, and I got people to weigh in on that. I got someone who thought that Maniac Cop was the best film ever made, was the best of the trilogy. Another person who thought Maniac Cop 2 was the best of the trilogy. I, funnily enough, could not find anyone who thought that Badge of Honor was the best film in the trilogy.
No, it's kind of like you compare it. Yeah, Larry Cohen wrote those films, didn't he?
He certainly wrote the first one. I'm not sure about the other.
Because it's very similar to the It's Alive series. No one really talks about the third one.
Yeah. Yeah. Like once it gets to 3, Was it like who? I mean, who directed the third one? Like someone like James Glickenhaus or someone like that. I don't know who.
I
who
thought
did
it was
number 3.
Cohen, but maybe not. Well, anyway. So here is my newly appointed favorite tagline of all time. It's not that great, but it just tickles me. So it is Central Intelligence, and with Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart, and the tagline reads, "Saving the world takes a little heart and a big Johnson."
That is great. Until you refresh my memory, then I completely forgot that film existed.
Yes, that film is good if only for the tagline.
If only for the tagline. I mean, it was a pleasant waste of 2 hours, but at the time when I finished watching it, I thought I'm never going to think of this film ever again. No. And until you brought it up now, I had achieved that goal.
Well, you were.
It doesn't stop me from anticipating that was it the not Steamboat Willie movie? What's his new one coming out that's based on the Disney ride?
Jungle Cruise.
Jungle Cruise, yeah. I'm looking forward to that. Him with his little cap on, with his captain's cap.
Well, maybe Steamboat Willie is next on the agenda.
That would be just if not for anything but keeping the IP alive.
Correct.
Yeah.
What else have you got there?
Okay. We talked about this movie last week.
Mm.
See if you can guess what it is.
No.
It'd be easy. It'll be super easy.
Okay.
Dingoes, Christians, Ayers Rock. It's the second coming. The Dingo Girl is back.
Yes. Now that would be pandemonium.
It is indeed. It is indeed pandemonium.
What listeners cannot see right now because they're listening and not watching is that I've got that in front of me because I had a funny feeling you'd bring that one up. Old versus new.
You've got old versus new.
So Ben held up the VHS and I held up the DVD of that film. We kind of need to contextualize that for people.
We flashed each other. We flashed our physical media at each other.
And it was pandemonium.
And it was.
Here's a belter for you. I love this one. Now this is the movie called The Lift, which is a horror film.
Oh, classic.
And the tagline reads, "Take the stairs. Take the stairs. For God's sake, take the stairs."
Take the stairs. Phenomenal tagline.
Yes.
Next up, I've got one from a little film called Halloween 3: Season of the Witch. Ooh. And the tagline is "The night no one comes home," which is it's very good if you're familiar with the first two Halloween films, because this one has almost nothing to do with them. Well, it does.
No,
but,
that's right.
They completely changed the franchise around. But
I love the fact that John Carpenter only made number 2 so that he could make number 3, and then number 3 practically killed it for everyone.
Killed it, yeah.
Okay, well, here's my second to last one. This is from the movie Ape. And the tagline reads, "Not to be confused with King Kong." Gold.
Fair enough. It's a good point. Well made. Okay, now I've got this is my last one.
Okay.
And this is from a little film called Nudist Colony of the Dead by Mark Pirro, directed by Mark Pirro. And it kind of has 2 taglines. It's "They'll eat you bare naked," followed by "Not just another typical horror, comedy, musical, zombie, romance movie."
That's so bad it's bad, dude.
It's so bad, yeah. I mean, there are so many horror, comedy, musical, zombie, romance movies.
But you can almost imagine that brainstorm session, like they're sitting at the table trying to be smartasses, trying to come up with something ludicrous and funny, and that's what they came up with, and it's just so bad.
I kind of wish. This would have been a great one to open up for a competition to come up with an awesome tagline for Nudist Colony of the Dead, because the title is so good.
It speaks for itself
by the tagline. Yeah.
Yes. Well, my final one is for no other reason than to uphold my reputation. So, Caddyshack 2, The Shack is back.
A tagline I'm not sure they could use during Shaquille O'Neal's basketball career. That would have been very, like, people would have gone, hang on a second, there's a Shaq in this.
It's all about the spelling, mate.
Yeah, I suppose it is too, yeah. There's a Q in the Shaq, isn't there?
Do you know I started writing a script called Caddyshack 2 Part 2? It was my version of like fanboys in Detroit Rock City about the only Caddyshack 2 fans in the world that were determined to make a sequel happen.
Right.
And what do you call a Caddyshack 2 fan? Shacky Tours. I shouldn't have said that. Someone's going to steal that idea, so maybe I'll cut that out of the show.
That'd be great if someone did. That'd be amazing. As long as it gets made. As long as it happens.
Let me quickly reel off some doozies just for the sake of it. We don't really have to stop by and discuss them, but Cool as Ice, starring Vanilla Ice. This tagline makes no sense whatsoever. When a girl has a heart of stone, there's only one way to melt it. Just add ice. Makes no sense.
But it's cool.
Yeah, Scary Movie 3. Great trilogies come in threes. And then there's Something About Mary. Love is in the hair.
True.
And this one's for our man Jarrett. Bernie's back and he's still dead. Weekend at Bernie's 2.
What's happening, everybody? It's Guillermo here again from ScreenRealm.com. Happy to be back on another episode of Good Movie Monday. I'm going to quickly take you through a few of the stories that have gone up on ScreenRealm.com in the past week, starting off with two very big Netflix films that are now in the works. The streaming giant is moving ahead with one of their biggest feature film projects yet with The Grey Man, a big action thriller blockbuster that's reportedly coming to life with a cost of over $200 million, which is the most the streamer has forked out on a film's budget so far. It's going to be starring Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans, and directed by Joe and Anthony Russo, known for directing a number of the Marvel films including Infinity War and Endgame. The film is to be based on a 2009 novel by author Mike Grianey and will follow freelance assassin and former CIA operative Court Gentry, who will be played by Ryan Gosling. The plot will find Gentry being hunted across the globe by a former CIA cohort played by Evans. The plan is for The Grey Man to start a Gosling-led franchise. As of now, the Los Angeles shoot of The Grey Man's production is expected to get underway in January, with other international locations still being finalized. The other big Netflix film in the works is Leave the World Behind, an adaptation of an upcoming novel by author Rumaan Alam. This one's going to be starring Denzel Washington and Julia Roberts, who previously starred together in the 1993 legal thriller The Pelican Brief. Directing and writing the film is Sam Esmail, known for creating and directing the Rami Malek starring series Mr. Robot, as well as co-creating and directing anthology series Homecoming, the first season of which starred Roberts. The plot will follow Amanda and Clay, whose aspirational vacation with their teenage children is interrupted by the arrival of a middle-aged couple who own the holiday home and who have fled from an unprecedented blackout in the city. When the internet, television, and radio stops working, as does the landline, they have no way of finding out what is happening. A strange sonic boom shatters the peace of the countryside, and animals start to migrate in strange ways, and the physical and mental health of the families begins to disintegrate. The renters are upscale and white, Robert will play the mother, and the owners are upscale and black. Washington is the homeowner. The issues of race and clash become distractions to the more alarming things that are happening around them. A prequel film to the 1978 musical Grease went into development last year at Paramount, and now it has its director. Set to helm Summer Loving is Brett Haley, making his first high-profile studio film following smaller dramedy and comedy fare such as Hearts Beat Loud, The Hero, and All the Bright Places, the latter an Elle Fanning starring Netflix film released earlier this year. With a screenplay by Liam McKendrick, Summer Loving will tell of how Danny and Sandy, played by John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John in the original film, first met and how this first stage of their relationship unfolded. As you may remember, Danny and Sandy sang about their summer fling in the classic musical's beloved number Summer Nights. There's still no word on who will be playing the Lovebirds this time around. And finally, some more movement on the long-gestating Dwayne Johnson starring Black Adam movie. Set to play DC hero Atom Smasher is Noah Centineo, perhaps best known for Netflix film To All the Boys I've Loved Before. The character of Atom Smasher can change his molecular structure and amplify both his strength and size. He was previously played by Adam Copeland in CW series The Flash. Black Adam is to be directed by Orphan and The Shallow's Helmer Jaume Colette Serra. Production on this film has been circling a star for quite a while, and as this pandemic continues to rage on, it's still in a holding pattern. The most recent US release date given to Black Adam is December 22nd, 2021, although don't expect that to be a sure thing. That's it for me, just a quick one this week. Be sure to jump on Screen Roam for the latest movie news, TV news, trailers, all that jazz. We also have the August release schedules for both Netflix and Stan up right now. Thanks so much, guys. Catch you next week.
You make it look like it's magic. Oh yeah. 'Cause I see nobody but you. I'm never confused. Hey, and I'm so used to being used. So I love when you call unexpected. 'Cause I hate when the moment's expected. So I'ma care for you. I'ma care for you. Yeah. 'Cause girl, you're perfect. You're always worth it. And you deserve it. The way you work it. 'Cause girl, you earned it. Yeah. Girl, you earned it. Yeah. You know our love would be tragic. Oh yeah. So you don't pay it. No mind. We live with no lies. Hey, you're my favorite kind of night. So I love when you call unexpected. 'Cause I hate when the moment's expected. So I'ma care for you. I'ma care for you. Yeah. 'Cause girl, you're perfect. You're always worth it. And you deserve it. The way you work it. 'Cause girl, you earned it. Yeah. Girl, you earned it. Yeah. All that lonely night. Said it would be love, but we felt the rush. It made us believe it was only us. Convinced we were broken inside. Yeah. Inside. Yeah, 'cause girl, you're perfect. You're always worth it. And you deserve it. The way you work it. 'Cause girl, you did. Yeah, earned it. Yeah, earned it. Na.
Welcome to Bonehead Fun Size.
3 times and you got it right. Good job.
You told me to say Fun Size Bonehead the first time. I can't remember. We'd have to go back and look, and I don't feel like it. So
Today you weren't recording at the time, so you're screwed either way.
Well, whatever. You and your revisionist history. So today we're talking about one-hit wonder directors, gentlemen, right? And our favorite one-hit wonder directors. Who would like to go first?
Joe, you go first.
You could just go, Joe.
I will tell you who.
No, I mean leave.
I will tell you who my favorite one-hit wonder director is. He would go on to do some documentaries, some shorts, and very small independent films. But it doesn't get much better than Tony Kaye for American History X.
Good choice.
Excellent choice. In fact, I'm not going to talk about this much because I'm assuming that most of the people listening or viewing this right now are familiar with American History X. Fine film.
But
Tony
if you're
Kaye
not,
tried to have his name removed from it.
Yeah, hold on, Joe. The people in Australia are going to be familiar with a movie called American History X. Continue.
Hold on.
They should
real
be.
quick.
Colonialism. I don't know. I'm just going to say
Real
things.
quick,
I don't know if it's
for
true.
our Australian friends, it's American Romper Stomper. Go ahead.
Oh, that's very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. Romper Stomper is probably a little more graphic, though. American History X. Not going to give you the plot. Check it out. Fantastic film, but there was a lot of fighting at New Line when it was made. Tony Kaye tried to have his name removed, but it's probably one of the best films ever made where the director tried to have his name removed. Agreed, gentlemen?
Yes, and the antics he got into during the actual post-production is worth looking up.
Absolutely. So Tony Kaye. In fact, I was looking at a lot of one-hit wonder directors, and some of them aren't even accurate. Like Michael Cimino made several movies other than The Deer Hunter.
Yeah, there's several on those lists that are not accurate
That
at
are
all.
just bullshit.
Yep. James, go.
Yeah, I just got, and I literally can do mine really quick. I've got to go with it Charles Lofton, Night of the Hunter.
Oh, that's a good one. And
Robert
he never
Mitchum.
recovered from it not being a success and being.
It felt now, but he was also an actor for years, and he died 7 years after the movie came out. He never did get another film. But if you've never seen,
it killed his soul that
Yeah.
people didn't care for the movie because it was not well received critically or financially.
and one of the stories goes that he couldn't direct the children. I don't know if this is true, but he couldn't take directing children, which is a problem if you've seen that film. So Robert Mitchum actually had to be the one to talk to the children and say what he wanted them to do because he didn't like talking to children. If you've never seen the film, though, it's great. If you ever wanted to see a personification of evil as a preacher without it being supernatural, you need to see Night of the
If
Hunter.
you're familiar with the tattoos on the hands of the Blues Brothers and other movies, they all ripped it off of that. That was the first time you seen it with Robert Mitchum. And Robert Mitchum was talking to those children in between smoking pot. Look that up and Google it as well.
So my pick for best one-hit movie director actually only directed one film. And his film actually introduced my favorite Tom Jones song, You Can Leave Your Hat On. I'm talking about Peter Cattaneo of The Full Monty.
He only directed The Full Monty?
He only directed The Full Monty, and then he's directed TV and some short films.
I wonder
This
what
is his
happened
only-
there, because The Full Monty is a fantastic movie.
It was a fantastic movie. It was a great hit at the time. I could not find any research as to why he stopped, why that was his only movie.
We should have him on Bonehead Weekly.
Yes, The Full Monty. It was only he only directed one film. And if you haven't seen The Full Monty, please check it out. It is a great film. Robert Carlyle is fantastic in it. The whole ensemble cast is amazing.
Yeah.
And I do want to do one quick honorable mention just to make Joe and James slap their heads. I do want to talk about Kinky Usher, the director of Mystery Men.
That Peter Cantaneo guy directed The Rocker with Rainn Wilson.
Bite me, James, for looking that up.
Oh no, I was going to say, I know
And
he
he's
directed
been
something.
corrected. And let me tell you, Mystery Men is a terrible movie.
Hey, Chad.
My pick is Kinky Usher, who directed The Mystery Men, and that's it.
Chad, what did the five fingers say to the face?
Hello, how are you doing? Can I have a drink? All right. Well, that's been Bonehead Fun Size. Thank you so much. Tune in next week while we keep drinking.
And that was You Earned It by The Weeknd from the 50 Shades of Grey soundtrack. And why? Because I love it. And shut up. And thanks to the legends at Bonehead Weekly for another great segment. One hit wonder directors. That's a really good topic. I wish we'd thought of it. I'm going to throw you on the spot, Ben. Are there any one hit directors that you can think of that deserved a bigger career?
One hit wonders.
The one that came to my mind was a guy called Leonard Cassell, who directed The Honeymoon Killers back in the 60s.
Right.
Which was a phenomenal film. He never made another one.
Right, yeah. I mean, I liked a little film called American Graffiti by this guy George Lucas. I don't think he went on to make any other films. I think that was his one hit, and then he just disappeared.
That's true.
I think it's a shame. I think he had a bit more in him.
I thought you had more in you.
Yeah, that's a terrible bit. He did THX 1138 before that too. It's just retarded. It's so retarded.
We'll forget that ever happened.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, you can catch the full-size Bonehead Weekly on Facebook, YouTube, and most podcast hosting platforms. And now I want to play a game of alternative taglines. I'm having so much fun with this episode. So let's do a quick round of alternative taglines. So a few days ago, Ben and I gave each other film titles that we had to go away and come up with new taglines for. So Ben's 3 were Deliverance, Shaft, and BMX Bandits. And Ben gave me The Golden Child, Silent Rage, and The Wraith. Who wants to go first?
Oh, mine are so bad. They're so bad. I'm happy to go first.
Should we do one at a time? You go first.
We do one at a time. Yeah. Are we going to say the original tagline?
Yeah, why not? I've got them written down in case you don't.
Yeah, I've got them here. So, all right. So I'll start with Deliverance.
Yep.
And the original, there was actually a couple. The original was Where Does the Camping Trip End and the Nightmare Begin?
Yep.
And the other one was This Is the Weekend They Didn't Play Golf, which I really love.
That should have been Caddyshack too.
And I spent a lot of time on this tagline, and I couldn't figure out a way to get a pretty mouth in there. So I came up with, oh God, this is so bad. Lions and tigers and bears, they wish. Which is a horrible tagline.
That is a horrible tagline.
It's a horrible tagline.
I'm trying to even comprehend where that came from in your brain.
Yeah, well, I was thinking, what film would all people who love Deliverance or would like a movie like Deliverance have watched? And I thought, well, obviously it's Wizard of Oz. Like those two movies go hand in hand. I told you that. Okay. And it only gets worse. That's the best one.
I can't wait. So I'm going to go with The Golden Child. And the original tagline was Eddie Murphy is the chosen one. And my tagline is From Beverly Hills to the Orient, there's no trading places with Eddie.
Jeez. I'm upset that you didn't get best defense in there somewhere.
Oh, damn it.
You've got to rework that in there
all right,
somewhere.
What's your next one?
Okay, so oh god, BMX Bandits. The original tagline is no gem either. A high flying ride to adventure.
I know that's the worst.
It could be about anything. And mine doesn't really improve on that. It's they came, they saw, they wheelied. It's literally the only BMX trick I could think of. You're like,
oh, mate, you really tried.
I really did.
All right.
This is why they don't let me come up with the taglines at work.
Okay, let's have a look. What have we got here? My next one's Silent Rage, which is the original tagline was science created him, now Chuck Norris must destroy him. And my tagline is, when Chuck Norris is on the case, don't bother.
About the film or...
Oh, you take it however you want to take it.
I mean, that's...
See, there's depth there, mate. There's depth to that.
There's depth, yeah.
What else you got? Last one.
Okay, my last one was Shaft. And the original tagline is...
Please.
Yeah. Shaft is his name. Shaft is his game. My tagline was, he has the biggest stick in Harlem.
That's good. And they call it Shaft.
And they call it Shaft. It's ridiculous.
Oh, man.
It got...
All right.
That was another one that didn't survive its third iteration. It didn't survive its second iteration.
No, but we do have the new Shaft on Netflix, so go figure.
Which I actually quite enjoyed.
Yeah, me too. I think that has a good tagline too. I think it's more shaft than you can handle or something like that.
The double entendres are flying hard and fast.
Nice one. All right, so my last one is The Wraith, and the original tagline was "He's heaven sent and hell on wheels," and my tagline is "Death isn't the end of the road."
Right.
Yeah, thank you for that recognition.
Yeah. I mean, really, I think the best thing that they could have done for the marketing for that film is like the tagline should have been "You see Cheryl and Fenn's boobs."
Yes, under a waterfall.
Under a waterfall, yeah.
So now let's throw some taglines at each other and try to guess what movies they come from. I've tried to make it relatively easy because this could be a really, really difficult thing to do.
Yeah. I'm terrible at this, so...
Well, I hope you've given me the same courtesy.
No. No.
So one of us will really suck at this. All right, you may as well take the lead again.
The School of the Future, where students don't just pass or fail, they live or die.
Oh man, is that Class of 1984?
Close. That's probably more appropriate. No, it's a little film called Space Camp.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That made no sense.
I guess because the ship runs into trouble and they have to. If they don't. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, congratulations on tying it into last week's episode as well. Nicely done.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah.
All right, so my first one is This Time It's Personal.
Oh, this is an obvious one, isn't it? It's like a big movie too.
I would have thought so.
It's something. No, it's something too. It's a sequel too, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It's not a part 2 sequel though. Clock is ticking.
I can't. Yeah, I can't think of it. I know. Like when you say it, I mean, it's gonna upset me greatly. Like, just of course.
Jaws: The Revenge. Great tagline. All right, your turn.
Okay, let's go with Jimmy is about to have the time of somebody else's life.
Ooh. Can you? Oh, it's a VHS. I was going to say, can you give me an era? But that's going to be 80s.
It's 80s, and the name of the actor and the name of the character is pretty much the same.
Nah.
No, it is Taking Care of Business with James Belushi and Charles Grodin.
Oh, James Belushi, of course. Holy crap, I have not seen that in a long time. I remember that movie more from the trailers that used to run at the start of other videos.
Other videos, yeah. Every Disney and Touchstone release had that trailer. Or Hollywood, was it Hollywood Pictures. All right, I'll try and give you an easier one now.
Thank you.
Some extraterrestrials aren't friendly.
I want to say Alien.
Close.
But I know Alien is in space, no one can hear you scream.
Yeah.
Some extraterrestrials are not so friendly. Shit. It's not The Terror Within.
No. A little film called Extra.
Oh, yeah. We covered that on the bloody podcast too. I've let myself down.
This is really a game that requires Jarrett because he is a master of taglines.
Yes. He's going to be listening to this absolutely furious.
Yeah. He'll be screaming at his phone.
Well, then we're going to have to... Hey, here's what we should do is we should do this again, have 2 teams, you and Jarrett, myself and Keith, and we go at it at the desk head-to-head.
And we do it head-to-head. Yeah. It's just going to be Jarrett versus Keith. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. We'll be the referees.
Yeah.
Okay, if you get this one, I'll be a son of a bitch. It makes no sense to me whatsoever, but the poster tagline for this said, "Why are they putting seatbelts in the theaters this summer?"
Ooh. Why are they
putting... And when you hear what the film is, it makes no sense.
Yeah, I've got no idea.
It's Star Trek V, The Final Frontier.
Yeah, no, that doesn't make any sense.
I think what it is, you know the Star Trek uniform from that series has the strap going across their chest?
Yeah.
I think they put them across the seats for a gimmick.
Right.
It still makes no sense.
Still doesn't make any sense until you're actually sitting in the cinema.
I guess you've got to go to the theatre to find out why.
To find out why, yeah.
Well, anyway, Adam has been waiting patiently in the wings, so maybe we should just let him have a go.
Hey guys, it's Adam here from Adam's Just Seen with another Good Movie Monday recommendation. We're creating new taglines for ourselves this, and so I'm going to call myself Adam 5-Star Ross because I give every movie I review on this 5 stars. But why wouldn't I? This is Good Movie Monday recommendations. Why am I going to recommend a 2-star movie to you? I wouldn't do that to you. So my 5-star movie, spoiler alert, that I'm going to be reviewing this week is Honey Boy, a movie that has fallen through the cracks. It was going to get a limited cinema release. You probably saw the trailer at the movies just before this all got shut down. It's going to land on Amazon Prime instead. So what is Honey Boy? Honey Boy is basically the Shia LaBeouf story. This focuses on a young child actor who is being coached and maybe even exploited by his recovering alcoholic father, played here by Shia himself. Now, first and foremost, Shia LaBeouf should have been nominated for an Oscar last year, and he should have won. He definitely should have won Best Supporting Actor. His performance is leaps and bounds better than Brad Pitt's in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. This is some of the rawest work that I've ever seen. Because Shia is playing a member of his own family, and he wrote this screenplay while he was in rehab too as well, but that you would be forgiven for thinking that this is a vanity project. When I saw the trailer, that's what I thought. But this is not a vanity project. This is cinema as therapy, and it is so raw and vulnerable and affecting and profound. And Shia, he should have been nominated for Best Screenwriter as well at the Oscars this year. That's how good and how human his script is. It hits the bullseye so many times, and his performance is so unvarnished here, and it's also very funny and human as well. This isn't a stitch up. He's not having a go at his father. He's trying to figure out what are the pieces that made him the man that he is today, and we follow him on that journey. It is beautifully directed here by Ama Harrell, who is she's done some documentaries and a lot of film clips, but this is definitely her first feature, and it's got kind of the stylings of an A24. It's very beautiful, kind of neon soaked. The majority of the movie takes place in a motorhome with a series of really interesting characters that this child should not be left alone with. But not only is Shia just incredible as his father, but Lucas Hedges really captures Shia's mannerisms and physicality, playing the grown-up version of him who's in an unnamed sci-fi franchise, Transformers. Lucas is an amazing actor on the best of days, from everything from Manchester by the Sea. That now he's emerging as a serious talent, and here he just solidifies that. Noah Jupe is amazing as the young Otis, as kind of the surrogate for Shia, and you will recognize him from one of the kids from A Quiet Place. But yeah, like across the board, every element of this film for me just absolutely clicked and worked. And when you put on that layer of it being real and it being something that is confessional, it just makes it incredibly powerful. So put this on your streaming list. You're probably watching everything in lockdown and dropping on Amazon soon. So yeah, as my namesake would suggest, Adam 5-Star Ross is giving this 5 stars. Check it out.
All right, so I guess we're getting close to the end of the show, and it's time to lay some of our recommendations on you. Now, before we do that, I just want to extend an invitation to all of you listening. We would love to hear some of your feedback on your favourite films, so if you like the sound of what we recommend, go ahead and watch these films. Come back, let us know what you think of them, then tell us movies that we should watch. Put your comments on this week's episode's post on Facebook and YouTube, and we will engage you in conversation. I'm going to take the lead on this one, Ben. I'm going to go back to 2008, and this is what I consider to be one of the best martial arts films ever made. It's Red Belt, directed by David Mamet, and this one stars Chiwetel Ejiofor. I can never pronounce his name. Emily Mortimer and Tim Allen are in this one. 3 incredible performances, and I think Tim Allen has never been better. The story of this one is about a local jiu-jitsu sensei whose integrity, generosity, and charitable nature have him become kind of desperate to make ends meet when he falls victim to a scam. He accepts a job on a Hollywood movie set and soon finds himself indebted to the mob and ends up in a fight for his life. This is a really beautiful film, and the focus on the integrity and discipline of the martial art are really what defines it and sort of sets it above all others. The final act is particularly stunning, and this is a really personal film because I believe David Mamet is into jiu-jitsu and and has a lot of discipline with the craft. So he sort of poured his knowledge and his love into the film. And if you've never seen Red Belt, then you definitely should. It's not streaming on any services, but for a few bucks you can hire or buy it on a digital platform. So have you seen that one?
I have indeed. I think I picked up the Blu-ray from the UK. I loved that movie when it came out. And I think it's actually like the kind of set, like almost at the birth of MMA. Like it's just pre the MMA explosion, and it's got all of the Gracies in it, and or they're kind of referenced and stuff. Like it's a pretty seminal movie, I think, for the what we now is now one of the kind of biggest sports movements.
Well, absolutely, because the context there too is that the final act of Red Belt, without any spoilers, is that it brings that jiu-jitsu world into that MMA kind of realm.
Yeah,
and it's a great film. Tim Allen is just outstanding in this one. I love him.
And it really, I think it ties in quite well, kind of, with another Tim Allen movie called Joe Somebody, which is him all about him getting into a fight with Patrick Warburton, and he goes to learn martial arts from James Belushi, who is basically playing Steven Seagal, and it's a great. All of their stuff in it is great. Like they've got a great
That's
rapport,
true.
and it does kind of fit nicely in with that red belt kind of.
Yes, and
scenario.
earlier on you mentioned Dwayne The Rock Johnson, who is a wrestler in the Jungle Cruise, which ties into Jungle to Jungle, starring Tim Allen.
Tim Allen, yeah. It's all segues and links.
There's a reason why we do this, mate.
Yeah. Funnily enough, my recommendation this week is another movie about fisticuffs in one form or another. It's from 1975. It's Walter Hill's first film, called Hard Times, or I think as it was released here, Street Fighter.
Charles Bronson
stars the man himself, Charles Bronson, along with James Coburn, and of course Charles's wife Jill Ireland is in it. In a kind of her role's a bit weird, to be honest. But Strother Martin from Cool Hand Luke pops up, and Jim Henry plays like he's kind of one of his main rivals. Jim Henry is the character named Robert Tessier, who is this amazing kind of bald, almost psychotic, grinning kind of, bare knuckle fighter. The movie is all about set in the Depression, and Charles Bronson kind of meets up with James Coburn in this kind of roadside diner in the middle of nowhere, and kind of convinces James Coburn, who's kind of running these illegal fights, to let him take on the kind of house champ. And he bets his last $6 on the match. And of course, Charles Bronson, I think at the time, was in his 50s, and everyone thinks he's too old for it, and they call him dad and all sorts of stuff. And then he knocks out the guy with one punch, and then James Coburn, kind of a light goes off, and he takes him back to New Orleans and tries to set up a big match against Robert Tessier, who's the bare knuckle brawler champion of the city. It is a phenomenal film, and I was just reading on Wikipedia before I think that originally Walter Hill wanted to cast Jan Michael Vincent in the Charles Bronson role, and Warren Oates to play the James Coburn role. What a different film that would have been,
mate. Well, even within itself, I don't think this film's ever been given a great treatment on home entertainment in Australia. Anyway, it's always been pretty bare bones and lazy.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you if there was a DVD or a Blu-ray release of this film. I'm assuming it will be on a streaming network. The video it came out on videotape, but that may have been all. Like, it's a kind of undiscovered gem. If you haven't seen it,
yeah, there is a Region 4 DVD, so
okay.
I have seen that on the shelves at certain department stores. Oh, mate. Well, what are the odds that we'd both pick fight movies? That's
amazing.
Kind of eerie.
Yeah.
But, anyway, that is all she wrote, folks. We've reached the end of another show, so it is time to sign off. This has been a really fun one. I hope you've enjoyed listening. We're going to continue the tagline discussion in one of our midweek videos this week, so provided we can get our shit together, because this conference call style of recording is an absolute bastard to contend with, and it's really hard to edit. So anyway, join us midweek on Facebook and YouTube. Whether we crash or burn or not, you'll just have to wait and see. Thanks to our regulars, Jarrett, Guillermo, and Adam, and the guys at Bonehead Weekly. Big thanks to you, Ben. We're getting through this lockdown, and I'm sure we'll be back to normal before we know it.
Fingers crossed. Fingers and toes crossed.
And most important, thanks to all of you for listening. You come from far and wide, and we appreciate your ongoing support. So we hope you have a great week. We hope to see you back here next Monday for another fun-filled episode. Here's a song to take us out. It is Happy by Pharrell Williams from the Despicable Me 2 soundtrack. Why? Why not? We'll see you next week. Good Movie Monday.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here. You can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space. With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Here come bad news, talking this and that. Well, give me all you got and don't hold it back. Well, I should probably warn you, I'll be just fine. No offense to you, don't waste your time. Here's why. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Bring me down, can't none bring me down. Your love is too high. Bring me down, can't none bring me down. I said, bring me down, can't none bring me down. Your love is too high. Bring me down, can't none bring me down. I said, because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Bring me down, can't none bring me down. Your love is too high. Bring me down, can't none bring me down. I said, because I'm